Hi everybody, welcome to this Ketron hints and tips video. And in this one I'm going to show you how to create some user voices of your own that you can store. And we're talking about individual voices here, not the. We've looked at layering 2-3 voices together before in each of the voices. I'm just going to look at some individual voices here, things that you may use over and over again. So it's worth actually doing the little edit, and there's nothing to be frightened about here in doing this. The first sound I've chosen is called ensemble, string sound. It's a nice sound, it's quite bright, it's quite classical in its sounding, and it has what they call a very fast attack. So in other words, the minute you hit the note, it's immediate, the sound is there. Something which has a slow attack would slowly build up to that full volume, but this has got a fast attack, so it comes in. So what we need to do is delve into the edit pages. Now to do that, once you've selected your sound, just press the big box again at the top and it will take you into the 7 editing pages. And actually the one page we want to look at is page 6, because this is where we can alter the sound quite drastically, quite quickly. And we're going to look at 3 different parameters here. With this particular sound. So the first one we're going to look at is this FC. It is a filter control. On Korg and Yamaha, it's called cutoff. And think of it in very basic terms as a tone control. So 64 is the mid-range position, and that's the sort of sound it gives us. If I was to increase that, it will actually make the sound brighter and brighter. If I was to take it down below 64, and let's go to an extreme here, let's go to something like 12. It's no longer going to sound like a string sound. Almost sounds like a synth pad sound. It's a nice sound actually, but it's not a string sound because we've taken all those high frequencies out. And if I hold a chord and turn this, you'll hear slowly but surely some of the string characteristics coming back in. So at 21 there, or 20 upwards, I can certainly hear now it is a string sound, but it's a lot more mellow than we had at the beginning. How else can I alter this sound? Because I want to use this on slower pieces, which is why I'm sort of mellowing the sound down. When I take my hand off, that is what is affected by the release setting. In other words, when you release the keys, what happens? The higher that number is, the longer that sound will linger on. In layman's terms, think sustain. So let's put it up to around 100. We've gone to an extreme now, but look how long that will stay on for. So maybe let's go around the 80 to 85 mark. Okay, so that's nice. We've got that lovely release. So when we take our hands off, as we're changing from note to note or chord to chord, depending where you're using this sound, you've got that nice little release that will sort of tie each change together. At the minute I touch the keys, that sound is immediately there. I can hear it straight away. And that is controlled by attack, because attack determines how quickly the sound builds up. So when you put a higher figure on there, it starts at a low volume and you get this crescendo or increase in volume level till it reaches its optimum sound, and that is called attack. So I'm going to increase this attack. Again, I'm going to go to extremes. I'm going to put it at 120. Have a listen. What you'll hear is it starts quite soft, and then the longer I hold the chord, you will hear this crescendo of sound as it increases in volume. Still going up. There, we're at that sound. But that's far too long. I don't want it to take that long to reach that sort of sound. So a bit like the release, let's go around the sort of mid-80s, something like that. That'll do. Yeah, it's just softened that sound up a little bit more now, so it doesn't immediately go full in your face when you first strike it. Maybe let's, this is trial and error. Different sounds will respond in different ways, and it will depend on your personal taste and indeed the type of tunes you envisage using this sound in. I really like that sound. That's given me a nice, warm, lush string sound. So my next step is to save this, because I don't want to have to go through this every time I want that type of sound. So we go to save. Okay. It's detected we want it in the string family because we started with a string sound. What I normally do then is go to location, and you press that, highlight it. Now, in the case of the keyboard or the Event X module, you can use the data wheel. If you've got an EVM, it's up and down arrows. And basically, you scroll through until you get to a location that says empty. Then I say save as, and now I can give it a name. So look, just for simplicity's sake here, I'm going to call it Ensemble 1. If I was spending more time, I would have called it mellow strings or soft strings, something a little bit more relatable to. But I just want you to see the functions here. So we press enter, and that has now saved that. So where do we find it? Every group here, every family of sounds, has a user bank. And if we go into user, there it is, Ensemble 1. We put it in slot 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There it is. And if we choose that, there is that lovely soft attack, much more mellow string sound. It's there for me to use whenever I want to in the future. So I'm going to go off here, and I'm going to go into the piano section, and I'm going to go to rock and roll piano. By its nature, that's going to be quite a bright, quite abrasive sort of sound. It needs to be if you're going to play sort of rock and roll music. But what we're going to do now, we're going to do the tap again on there. And where did we go to? We went to page 6, wasn't it? So 4, 5, 6. There we go. So again, you'll see everything's defaulted back, apart from the release, everything's defaulted back to the 64. Let's go through pretty much the same procedure here. Let's highlight that frequency control. If I start to turn it down, I've now not got a rock and roll piano. Got a lovely little mellow piano. You're not going to alter the attack on this one because you want that sound to hit you straight away. A piano is not a sound that can do that sort of crescendo or anything. So that might well be enough. I'm using a damper or sustain pedal connected, so I can do those nice again, to help join those note movements up with a little bit of sustain. If you don't use a damper or a sustain pedal, first of all, why not? But obviously, yeah, I know a lot of people don't. So you could get round that if you want to play some sort of slow music to it. Go to the release and turn the release up. Now, you're going to have to trust me here. I'm not going to touch a pedal at all here. So I'm putting this to around the mid-90s. And that's ringing on quite nicely. We can turn it up a little bit more. Let's go to 106. Probably a little bit too long there, but again, just get to the sort of figure that you want. I preferred it around the mid-90s, and we could save that and call it piano with sustain. And you know, when you're playing those little slow pieces and you want that lovely lush sustain on there, you would just press save. It's detected we want a piano. What do? We find an empty location. There might be a lot more pianos in here. There we go. So is 13 is empty. We go to save as, and this time I am going to clear the name out, and I'm just going to call it Mel Piano. I'm going to shorten this because otherwise we run out of characters. Sus. Now, that might seem like a silly name, but it actually tells me everything I need to know. It's a mellow piano with sustain. Enter. Okay, where do we find it? We're in our piano bank. We go to user, and it's not on the first page. There it is. It's on page 2, and there is that sound. It's really not that difficult to go in and create yourself some great new sounds, particularly sounds that you feel you're going to use time and time again. Create them, save them as a user voice. You can always go back in and edit further. So if you're not 100% happy when you hear it with a fresh set of ears the next day, just go back in and tweak it a little bit more till you get it exactly as you want it. Just save it back with the same name in the same location. It will tell you it already exists. Do you wish to overwrite? Yes, I do. Okay, so simple little voice edits there on Ketron Event.